Hey guys, my name is Betty Chalo and welcome to my podcast. So I'm really glad to have you here today, and without wasting any more time, I would like to introduce you all to a new series that I'll be doing for the next few days, and the title of this series is going to be called Drumrolls, The Way She Does It. So I don't know how many of you guys have read this have been in these situations whereby it's this very cold early morning and you don't feel like getting out of bed, but at the same time you know that if you don't get out of that bed, you might end up spending the entire day in the bed and you'll end up also wasting a lot of time. So that was the case for this girl. So for her, she didn't have any other option rather than to wake up and go take a wash her face. I was looking for yeah, so she has to go clean her face and then come back, and she goes and picks a laptop, and then she goes to her workout tutorials, videos. Maybe she's the only one who does that, going to YouTube and downloading workout tutorials. So she clicks on this one dance workout tutorial, and well, I can assure you she's not a pretty good dancer. She's actually the worst of the worst. So she clicks on the video and it begins playing. The good thing about it is that there's no one around to see her, because trust me, you wouldn't like the sight. So she goes ahead and begins the dance workout tutorial until the video comes to an end, and trust me, it was fun. At the same time, it was pretty much embarrassing. But again, the good thing is no one was watching. So after that, she decides to go take a shower, and too bad the shower was a bit dysfunctional, so she had to turn that the tap to minimal, so that the water that comes out is going to be hot rather than warm, because who would want to shower with warm water on a cold morning? So that's what she does, and she ends up staying in the bathroom for how long? Almost 10 minutes. I don't know how long you people stay in the bathroom, but she stayed there for around 10 minutes. So after that, she just came, she dressed up, and then she got a call from her cousin. When she gets that call, her cousin wants her to go into one of the curio shops so that she can get him some ornaments that he wants to take out of the country to some of his friends. So when she gets to town, this is where it becomes interesting. So this cousin of hers wants her to go to a specific shop, and he directs her to the street along which that shop is. And she goes looking for the shop, but unfortunately, she doesn't find it. And when she asks around, she's told that the nearest curio shop is a few minutes away, but not in the direction that her cousin tells her. So when she goes, she finds the curio shop, and she decides to call her cousin and she tells him that she's found the curio shop, but it's not the one that he wanted her to go to. So she decides to go inside. She looks at the prices, and then she sends him a few pictures of the items that she gets. And after some time, the cousin calls her and tells her that the items that are there, they are a bit too expensive. So she has to go around town all over again, looking for that specific curio shop that her cousin wants her to find. But unfortunately, she doesn't find it. So she ends up getting into around 6 more curio shops that are within town. And every time she goes there, it takes time for her to send the pictures and for him to reply, because at the same time he's at work, so she wouldn't really expect him to reply immediately. So after spending around 3 hours, yeah, I said it right. Around 3 hours in town, she decides to go back in school because she's a student. So on her way back to school, she decides to stop by this restaurant that she loves spending her time, because when she's there, she just feels like she can relax, she can think, she can do her writing, she can do her research in peace without any distractions. So when she gets to the restaurant, she takes her usual seat at the back of the restaurant, and lucky for her, a few of her friends passed by, and she says a few hellos before now going back to school. The good thing about it is that she arrives in time, because she had appointed a meeting in school with one of her lecturers. So she arrives in school on time. That's at 2. Yeah, she gets in school on time, and when she gets there, she decides to wait for another friend of hers, well, her brother, who was also coming at the same time, and the lecturer. So as she waits, she decides to go sit under the gazebos and write down details of how her previous day was, because this is one of the things that she was told is going to help her get closer to her goal. So as she waits, her lecturer comes, and they decide to go sit down in a hotel that's within the school premises. So when they get there, they begin with a few icebreakers. They talk about how the week was, how things were, about politics and all that. At that time, politics was really heated in the country. The politics was totally heated in the country, and people were full of uncertainty, and they weren't sure of what's going to happen the following day because of the few kills that were reported for the last few weeks. So after that, they begin the session, which was pretty amazing. She gets to learn different things and different ways to look at life, different ways to look at situations, which was pretty amazing. And after that, it's evening already, 6 p.m., and she decides to escort her brother a few meters away, but unfortunately she doesn't get him to where he wants, because she's pretty tired and she really has to go rest. So when she goes back to her hostel, she doesn't even waste any minute before she plops herself in the bed and drifts off to sleep. I mean, we all have those times whereby we just want to take off all the stress. I don't know about you guys, but for her way of removing stress was always by sleeping. Even when she was undergoing serious tests, you'll find her sleeping over the weekends instead of studying. Anyway, people have different ways, I suppose. So after she wakes up, she takes a supper, which is already prepared. That's the good thing about the hostel where she stays in. She doesn't have to cook. The food is prepared for her. So she takes a supper, and then she goes on and decides to watch a series that she had really missed. I don't know how many people have watched Supergirl. She's a big fan of that series, and she had to update herself to the last episode. So after that, after watching the movie, she says her silent prayer and retires to sleep. And guys, that's the end of episode 1. And the thing about this episode is that by the end of these few days, something great will have happened to her, and I hope you'll all be there at the end of these few days so that you can know. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.